we only focus on the data center market. So normally the PowerPod will contain your HV switchgear, transformer, UPS, LV switchgear, fire systems, cooling systems, comms, domestic power. But basically it's sort of endless, the variants of PowerPods. And it will be from an LV switchgear pod to a HV pod to a complete data center powertrain that also ties into the AVK generator solution. So you've got that tie-in between the two. It's fully coordinated, fully controlled, all the systems are aligned. We're technology agnostic, and what you'll find is in the market at the moment, you've got most modular or PowerPod manufacturers, suppliers. There'll be perhaps a UPS manufacturer or an LV switchgear manufacturer. So what they'll traditionally try and do is, which is completely understandable, they'll give you a solution containing their equipment. So the UPS will be from that manufacturer, or the switchgear will be from that manufacturer, or the cooling systems. What we want to do is follow the client. So if the client is, they've used a particular UPS vendor for 10, 12 years, they've got relationships in place for maintenance, for operation, they're fundamentally happy with the supply chain, we'll work with the client so they can tell us what subcomponents they want to install, what they want to use, what they're happy with, and where we'll integrate that in our facility at Haydock. We'll always try and give the client some options on, there's a commercial option here if you want to look at this, but we are governed by the client. It's not us pushing a solution onto the client. So we take those components, we design the system, we then CFD, mechanically check it, electrically check it, and then it is the client's decision. It's the client's site. We focus on the data center industry. So put aside microgrids for the moment. So through the data center powertrain, so the microgrids can serve HV, so your primary HV equipment coming in to the system. So basically we'll take the HV switchgear at Haydock, we'll integrate it into the modular solution. We'll do the fire systems, air handling, comms, control, network in the box, so it's more of a plug and play solution. You can then move into the front of house equipment or standard distribution, which isn't supporting the critical load. So that could be just a cast resin transformer, LV switchgear, maybe HV switchgear in the modular platform. And it's important actually to bear in mind that modular solutions, we focus primarily on a PowerPod, which is a full Type 3 modular solution. We also able to deliver skids, which is base frame solutions and other solutions. But the key element in the powertrain would be your PowerPod, so that would contain UPSs, LV switchgear transformers, cooling systems, RMUs, power lighting, and they're effectively the power supply, the critical power supply to the data center. So whether that's cloud, AI, they're providing the power, the uninterruptible power. So should the electricity network go down, the PowerPod is providing that critical energy to the load, and they work hand in hand with the AVK standby solution, whereas we bring the engine, we model the engine, the PowerPod, and we're able to do the connections, the interfaces, streamline the solution and make sure that they work perfectly together. Haydock is slightly different to anything else, I believe, in Europe at the moment. Haydock was developed specifically for modular solutions, whereas a lot of the other manufacturers of modular solutions have tried to adjust a current facility to PowerPods. So Haydock was designed specifically for modular systems with its own test area, test cell for modular solutions. And its location's great, and it's UK based because AVK, all of our engineering resource is in the UK, although we have teams across Europe, but it just means it's centralised for distribution across Europe.
We've pulled together a team of highly experienced people with a background in manufacturing and modular project management. With all good teams, it's important to hire a leader that people trust and want to follow. Once you do this, hiring the team becomes so much easier, which is why we have found that people have been reaching out to us to join our exciting journey. Hiring people with years of experience will allow AVK to hit the ground running as they would have seen and made most of the mistakes in the past, learnt from these and perfected their delivery. Diversity of thought is also something that we have focused on, as this will allow us to continually question our ways of working. The majority of problems that I've seen at site level during testing and commissioning has been with the integration of systems when they arrive at site, as this is the first time that they would have been tested together. At our Haydock factory, we have created our own test facility that allows us to test the integration of the PowerPod and their generators together before they are delivered to site. The team that we've hired to do this have years of experience in undertaking integration system testing at data centres. Having hired industry experts who are amazing at what they do and passionate about passing their knowledge on to others, the thing that excites me most is that we will be not only building an amazing business, we will be building a legacy of engineers to support the future growth of the industry.
So Wayne, it's great to be here, like first day of sort of the facility really starting to take shape. Maybe just talk us through what the facility houses.
Absolutely fantastic to have you here, Ben. It's an absolute pleasure for us to show you what we've done. So obviously reception area, obviously welcoming area, bring our clients in and see all of the new facility in its glory. We've got 37 seats upstairs in the open office area. And we should take you through into the canteen area. So as you can see, something you might not recognise from the very first time we moved in here. So this whole area has been developed. This was all mezzanine. So we've now got a shiny new client welfare and office facility. As you can see, fully equipped for any meetings, any kind of important conversations that need to go on in here about the product, about the projects that we're doing, and also gives the chance for our clients to have a relaxing time as well, so they're not always on the shop floor when they're coming to do FATs, and obviously can take the meetings and hold the meetings here as well.
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it? Like a facility this impressive, like really underpins our approach to sort of the PowerPods. You know, when we look at us being able even just to visually see the work that's going on, you know, we really see this as a opportunity to really showcase what we're trying to achieve here.
Absolutely. I think the beauty is of adding the window there is we're not hiding anything. The clients are obviously in the thick of it. They can come and see what's going on outside on the shop floor, come and see their products, and also they're right next to the facility where everybody uses, from the office staff down to the shop floor staff. So we're obviously mixing from day one, and obviously we're providing such a facility for our new work staff. We've got welfare area down here, brand new kitchen facilities, more than enough space to house up to 100 people, and as you can see, it looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it looks really different to most sort of mess areas that you typically see in manufacturing. Maybe talk us through some of the thought. I know it was a really important part for us because this is a central place where everyone sort of meets and collaborates.
Absolutely, Ben. So yeah, we're looking at a space like this now, and you know, historically there's always been that them and us, and the office staff and the shop floor staff. AVK, we don't want to be doing that here. It's totally, you know, you look at hierarchy needs and white collar and blue collar, we're all in it together. So to have the space where we can all talk and all the ideas can mingle together. So, you know, from right through from you know, someone that's like the yardman can talk to the CEO, yourself, and we can all share ideas, and the thoughts and processes that will come out of this room, you probably get more than what you'd get out of a meeting room. It's just a really good shared space, and yeah, just to keep us all inclusive.
I think we've really achieved what we set out to do, and that's to bring everybody together in the business.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, it's very, very easy to have a shop floor staff area and an office staff area, but what we try to achieve is bring everybody together so we are one company.
Yeah, and I think, you know, again, it's about creating that space for everyone to be here, isn't it? Even clients, you know. I think it's culture is underpinning what we're trying to achieve here. You know,
absolutely.
PowerPods aren't new to the market. You know, they're new to AVK, but for us to attract the right people, for us to sort of the level of quality that we expect on the shop floor, we need to ensure that we deliver that internally, and that's super important.
Ben, do you want to explain what does Haydock mean for the overall company strategy?
Yeah, so I suppose like this facility's been, I would say, a long time in the making, but actually what we've achieved in such a short time is so impressive. But you know, when we look at Haydock is sort of that final bit of the jigsaw puzzle. When we look at PowerPods as that last bit of the jigsaw puzzle for distribution of power, we've seen AVK's evolution from its inception, but more recently over the last 3 years. When you look at, we were a standby power business, mainly very regional in the UK. Then we moved to Europe. Then we moved to microgrids. And then as we saw those microgrids develop, we managed to see that distribution is actually key to the success of those microgrids. And we saw PowerPods as this opportunity for AVK to actually offer something quite different. What's really important about this space is we will be vendor agnostic. You know,
what does it exactly mean?
So AVK obviously isn't an OEM. We don't build switchgear. We don't build busbar. We don't build UPSs. We are sort of agnostic in our approach. So we're ensuring that we'd get the best technology,
right,
but also allows us to be super competitive on price and program, because we're out to the market putting together the best solution for the client. And that's what this facility sort of underpins, I suppose. When we look at when we just look at the space, and we're going to walk through shortly, you know, we see this is a purpose-built pod facility, and I don't think many people understand that, you know, the importance of that. You know, the skills and the people that we have here are purpose-built to assembling pods at a very high standard. When we look at most of the other market, they are assembling multiple different technologies within a facility.
Let me take you on the shop floor and let's show you what we've built. 140,000 square foot, plenty of room to build up to 100 pods a year, full lighting system, full buzz bar system all the way through, power and lighting down the sides, and obviously we have 4 zones in the building. So zone 1, which is our large scale power pod area, zone 2 for the smaller power pods, zone 3 again for a larger power pod, and zone 4 again for a larger power pod facility. So in here generally with a lay down area we can fit anywhere between 20 to 25 pods
at the same
any one time. With lay down area as well, so lay down areas including your UPS, your switchgear, your RMUs, your transformer. Don't forget, when you start laying these pieces of equipment out, it takes up so much room. And the beauty of an area this size and a facility that's got this size and space and scale is it gives you a huge area to work with. And obviously we're not tied up just building smaller pieces of equipment. We can actually build some of the largest power pods in the market.
So are power pods customized for specific clients?
Very much so, very much so. So generally power pods are exactly what the customer requirements needs. So specification will be sent to us, our sales team, they've got many decades of experience between them. They would supply the client with exactly what their needs are. We would develop the design, we would BIM the design and develop the design in manufacturing, and then what we would do is design it in a 3D CAD package so that we get rid of any potential issues. And the specification is basically what the client wants rather than what we think he wants. And then what we do is we then deliver that in a facility like this purchase all the equipment, and then assemble. And we do all of the assembly and the quality control in this entire house, in this facility.
That makes
So you
sense.
can imagine we can keep fully control of all of the Q&A procedures from start to finish, cradle to grave. So when these PowerPods actually physically leave this facility, they are in the best condition they possibly can be.
We took a fair bit of time looking at facilities,
Oh, we
working through, and you know, we were sort of, I said today on the drive here, you know, we had multiple different opportunities around facilities, but we obviously went for this one. But obviously, in the last sort of couple of weeks, we've seen a significant number of new joiners, and that is so important, that sort of skill and people coming into
Oh,
this facility,
absolutely,
isn't it?
absolutely. I mean, we've got around 15 new employees. They've all come from varying different skill sets, but all come from the power industry, the critical power industry. We've got mechanical design engineers with 10, 15 years experience in this field. We've got sales engineers, technical sales with decades of experience, knowing exactly what our blue chip company clients need. And from a hyperscaling position, we've delivered this before. Yeah. Multiple people in the team have done this before.
Yeah.
And all we can do here is we're scaling up to that next level.
Yeah.
We have the ability to build pretty much any project going in the hyperscaling market to date.
And that's what's really sort of important for me is, you know, we talk about pods being new to AVK, you know, but when we look at the team that we've built, the decades, like you talk around, the experience, and we as a business, and I suppose us as a management team, have given this space to sort of allow some of the best people in the industry really to sort of take it to the next level and really sort of grow the pod offering and do it at scale as we see demand grow through the data center sector. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, take Bob Downing, for instance, yeah, very well known within this business. He's obviously got decades of experience supplying clients with exactly what they need, you know, from an idea, from a client's needs, all the way through to delivering a specification and handing it over to Simon, who's got decades also in this game, multiple talents under his belt, delivered multiple projects in the past, and the team that Simon's got, I absolutely have every confidence that they'll deliver everything for us.
Will the facility cover the UK or Europe, or both?
It will cover both. I think we've got the capacity and the scale here to be able to deliver both.
So this will be the center of gravity for all shipping across Europe?
Absolutely. I think with some of the projects that we have online at the moment and some of the projects in the future that we hope to have online, I don't think there will be anything that we cannot achieve in this new facility. I mean, take the crane for instance, we've got a purpose-built 64-ton crane capable of lifting PowerPods up to 21 metres wide, 18 metres wide, and also 4.2 metres in depth. We've also got a large-scale door there. We've actually opened up the door in the building to allow us to be able to get the large-scale wagons in. Some of these wagons that we'll be bringing the PowerPods into this facility, they will actually be up to 38 metres long. So bringing the enclosures in and bringing the components in, it just makes our lives so much easier. Large scale forklift there to be able to deliver pretty much everything we need and handle everything that we need, whether it be engines for a generator business, for a generator product, or whether it be for PowerPods. And all of the equipment that we need to handle, we've gone from day one with exactly what we need. Even going to the point where we've actually got 10 dock leveling doors there. We don't need 10 dock leveling doors, but we've got the ability to expand in the future.
But then, why do you think this is the right moment for introducing powered pods within the AVK offering? Why not?
I think it's more about landscape shift in the data center sector. You know, we see power moving to a strategic sort of decision for the client. You know, and we see demand definitely outstripping supply in the data center sector. And as we start to look, obviously, right here, right now, we're offering PowerPods that are typical to the market. But as we see AVK sort of grow and microgrids and just general, we speak a lot about fund own operate models, you know, owning the overall envelope. We see AVK sort of taking that whole piece on. We obviously have the controls business, we have standby, we have microgrids and pods, that is that full envelope of power. And we're seeing that on a project, the first project that's going to go through here, you know, is a broader scope than what we would normally see AVK traditionally sort of 4 or 5 years ago look at. You know, we've got standby generation, and then we've got 27 varying MV and LV pods that we're developing. So obviously lots of excitement in the business for that, but I think it's just the market is driving the need for that. And I think also the market wants something a little bit different. You know, I think
that makes sense.
when we look at how supply chain is going to come under significant stress, if you were looking at a typical or a specific pod, and you were going with an OEM built pod, you are pegged to their lead time on their say UPS, for example. For us, having that agnostic and that flexibility in supplier allows us to actually sort of protect the client against sort of those stresses and strains on the on the supply chain that we're already seeing, and demand is growing. So it was a logical decision, but also opportunity presented itself with people like Dean, who have great history in sort of pods, and then managed to sort of introduce us to great people, and you know, we sort of taken the opportunity as well. So it's a mixture of landscape, market driving, but also just opportunity that's presented itself, and we've gone, you know what, I think it makes absolute sense for us.
You just mentioned the first pods, power pods, being used in a very traditional kind of projects, but can they also be integrated within microgrids and prime?
Yeah, for sure. You know, again, this facility set up for your traditional power pod, which is your UPS transformer, batteries and switchgear, but also we're doing modular housings here as well that fit directly into those sort of microgrid projects. And then as we see the power landscape change over the next 3 to 5 years, we'll start to see that sort of redundancy that's built into the data center maybe start to be moved into our full package and a funded offering. So this gives ultimate flexibility to AVK to service a market that is changing rapidly, and allows us to sort of pull on all of our expertise with standby, you know, traditional core business, but microgrids and pods, and all of those sort of 3 areas sort of intertwine depending on location and client need. And I see this facility being sort of that as I say, that last bit that underlines the opportunity.
Excellent. Yeah. So the need for data increases, the need for data centres increases, and so does the need for the management of that power, and that's where we're cornering the market like massively, and it's brilliant.
And that's where just the scale of this facility shows, I suppose, our intent for that, and shows how much, you know, we're seeing the demand drive AVK's growth. We've grown significantly over the last 3 years. We're now seeing clients enter into 5-year frameworks, and that was sort of the base case to do this properly, I suppose. You know, it was a big thing of when we were looking at going into pods, it was, do we go into partnerships? Do we do it on a smaller scale? And then it was kind of, we need to do this as big as we can do.
We've definitely done it big scale.
Yeah.
You know, with a facility like this, I mean, we're 140,000 square foot of shop floor space and offices, but also let's not forget the outside yard area as well. 100,000 square foot area, not just to allow our wagons to come in and deliver all of the equipment as easy as possible, but we've got the facility to store product as well, and also build some of the less technical products outside if we needed to. But storage, as you know, is a premium in this game, and I think having that ability to be able to offer 240,000 square foot of manufacturing and storage space, I just don't think exists out there in the UK market whatsoever.
And this facility will roughly do circa 100 engines 100 pods a year?
Yeah, we could probably do anywhere in the region between 80 and 100 PowerPods per year.
Depending on size,
depending on the complexity.
Yeah.
But I think you can see we could probably house anywhere between 20 to 30 large-scale PowerPods in here at any one time. With lay-down area, and obviously during the course of a 10 to 12 week period for turnaround, we could easily achieve between 80 and 100 PowerPods.
And I suppose I'm walking over here because I know what's going to be
well,
here.
This is the surprise.
We've obviously done a lot of work, and the facilities come on
absolutely
huge way since we last saw it. But
absolutely.
Here's the last bit for us to sort of work through, and we're going to have this test facility.
Absolutely. So obviously we've fit all the infrastructure out in the building now, so that's all operational. So our next phase, which is phase 2, is we're going to have a heat rise test lab inside our own facility. That's going to allow us to not only do lots of R&D on our product, but it's also going to allow our clients to come in and have the peace of mind that we're going to take their product through a first of kind test in the heat environment that these things will be subject to in their environment on site. And the beauty of this test lab, it will allow us to power up and energize the entire PowerPod to its maximum level, go through scenario testing, all in an enclosed environment, so the client will actually see how his product works on site and not just do primary testing, secondary testing and point-to-point testing. We'll actually see this product in action, and it will do what it's supposed to do. Absolutely.
And that's super important, isn't it? Because I suppose, again, it goes back to this facility being a purpose-built pod facility, you know, unlike others, you know, where having sort of this blank canvas, when we sort of started speaking about, well, what is going to be our differentiator of sort of AVK's PowerPod, I suppose. Obviously the big thing was the agnostic piece that we spoke about, but then the next bit is, so what do clients want to see, you know, and having a space this large that we can ring fence an area to actually do a heat rise test, that if there is a 50-degree ambient, you know, firstly we know it works, which is quite comforting, but also that the client's happy and it's proven, and it really does sort of take modular to that next level, where we look at modular was sort of invented or sort of taken on as this sort of ability to build off site, quicker speed to delivery. But you know, having a test cell like that really embodies the sort of industry's first direction around modular, which is so important.
Absolutely, Benny. What it does is it eliminates the worries from the client. You know, the quality process that we'll go through will be second to none in this business. We've got many years of experience with our quality team, and they'll go through all of the different steps through build, checking all of the quality and the point-to-point testing, and then as the final point, we then bring that into the test lab and we go through a complete systems test, power the whole pod up, and allow it to do its thing, and that's ultimately what the clients want to do and see on site, isn't it?
Real world format, and to have and to have that command centre, so to speak, with all the screens and the thermodynamics coming through, and seeing it as they would in an actual real world data centre. You know, no one else does it. Nobody else can offer that.
I think it's just key to say that part of the blank canvas that we had here is allowed us to be able to fill everything and fulfill everything that we wanted to do within the business, whether it be test lab, whether it be a large scale crane, whether it be allow us to operate the large scale forklifts, and also the offices that we've got there will hopefully provide us with the services that we need to keep not only the shop floor happy, but also all of our clients as well.
And we've managed to get in here obviously just before things start to land. Obviously this is going to look quite different in 2 to 3 weeks, isn't it? Well, fortunately we've been quite successful straight off the bat with a few projects, and we've got this is going to be full, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And talk us through maybe what that looks like. You know, I know we've got generators coming in, some containerized generation, we've got some modular housings.
Absolutely. So one of the first jobs that we're doing, as you well know, we've got a large-scale generator job coming in here. So we've equipped this facility not just for PowerPods, but we've also equipped it for generator build as well. You know, although this will be a PowerPod division long term, we're also capable of building generators in here as well. So what we've done here is we've got the large-scale forklift solely to deliver and install the generators, the engines, the MTU engines. We've got power all the way around the facility for us to be able to energise the products when we've actually got them finished, ready for testing. As you can see, we've got a 630 amp busbar system running around the perimeter of the building, and these test boxes that you see dotted around, these give us the ability to actually test all of the products in situ, so we're not moving these large scale items around. Any enclosure that you bring into this facility, you want to put it down once and leave it until it's finished, and then remove it once it's tested. You do not want to be moving these things around. We've also got some new technology as well in terms of the electric skates, which we've delved into pretty deep. And what they will do is they will allow us to manoeuvre the product around the shop floor, ready for bringing in or removing, and also when we're ready to actually build them, and also when they're ready to go out the door to the crane, right onto the wagon. And that's also a safety factor as well.
Absolutely, it keeps you guys away from the pod itself. One man on a remote control, and they can move an 18 metre, 54 tonne pod with one guy. You know, it's brilliant.
Wayne, how easy or difficult was to find the right people, the right competencies?
The right people, well, fortunately, I've kind of grown up in this industry, so I think for the last 30 odd years, which seems like, it doesn't seem like 2 minutes ago if I'm being honest, but I've grown up in this world and I've got to know a lot of very key experienced people. Been lucky enough to find some new friends over these many years, and there's people within this industry that I know and trust. And luckily they've decided to also join the business. So I think I can confidently say that with the team that we've got, we will excel at what we do.
What do you think is attracting that sort of talent to the business?
I think, ultimately, I think AVK is renowned within the business for generators, and I think when it was declared that you were going to start building, or we were going to start building PowerPods, it was the obvious move for me. I think it was probably the obvious move for some of the other individuals that have followed as well.
And I think definitely with AVK being still, even though we're growing rapidly, having that core family value of a company, and you know, you can see that, and it's right through the bones of it, you know, and yourself, Ben, growing up through the business, you know, you didn't have to do that. You learnt it, you've grown into it, and to where you are now, people see that, and it's inspirational. You know, they see it as like an inspirational thing. And you know, I saw, you know, Wayne. I've worked with Wayne for many years now, 22 years, was it? 23 coming up. And when he phoned me and said, "Look, do you fancy coming on board?" It was like, yeah, absolutely.
I think I used the words taking on a new challenge.
I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, like I said, we've forged relationships and friendships, and you know, throughout the industry that we've come from, and they see. To be honest with you, I don't think people would have looked at me and thought I would have spent the rest of my life working for my old company. But the opportunity that AVK offer and the way that we are growing, it's just brilliant. You know, that vision is there, and then people see me move over, see Wayne here, and it's like, you know, let's
what's going on over there.
Yeah, that's the place. Yeah.
I think the one thing to really shout about is how excited everyone is. You know, we've developed this from a blank canvas. You know, within 4 months we're operational. I mean, everybody's excited about coming into the business. We've obviously got some old people that have been there for a while. We've got some new people, some new faces, and I think that tied with the existing business, the skill set that's already there, will be a force to be reckoned with. I really do.
And as I say, loads to be excited about. Two large projects already secured going through, right? That see us sort of through 27 into 28. You know, which is. More, you know, it'd be great if we were just stood here today talking about the facility, but to be talking about the facility and have the success of this, and you know, have something to really get our teeth into and start building, and getting the expertise of the people in to actually start doing what they came here to do already is just
chomping at the bit to get going.
So I said to Wayne, that's the easy part. The hard part was getting the building put together. The easy part is putting the pods together.